So today we are going to be doing Mystical Life 2 and 3. Oh, we should get the blue bus on again there. And just a reminder, blue bus. This tour was the beginning of 2 weeks in Ranchi, India, near Bangalore, and they were there for 2 weeks in a heavy downpour every day.
And these ones are already published in the Meher Baba journals.
Right.
1 through 4 was published. And the other 10 were ready to be published. They were assigned their place in publishing.
So all of these Mystical Life messages, a total of 14, have this footnote at the beginning. The variations of the theme of self-realization were dictated to me by Meher Baba through direct communication and intuition in July of 1940. So Mystical Life 3. Oops, what am I doing? I want to do Mystical Life 2.
Is it being recorded?
Yeah, I'll just get the right one.
Sure.
That said, I clicked on this one.
No.
See, it's 3 again.
Yeah.
Mystical Life 2. What is the real meaning of the word selfless? To my question, Meher Baba intuitively suggests, I cannot speak in other terms than in those which I feel to be the real experience. The word is in itself a form that is in its own order of reaction, of use to the intellect. To make that clear, I want you to realize that in no way is it possible to make the mind and man be unconscious of its own reaction. Unless this is true and real, it is impossible to create a state of mind which is utter calm. To make the mind in man react real, it is important that its thinking in two ways, it's in its own finite order of self-realization, pursues within, in the realm that is in no way of the intellect, that which is right and real. It cannot be made clear to anyone what is the real selfless state in mind of one who is unself-conscious in I as finite existence. No one can reach this state unless he has surrendered in full in I, the head and the heart, as usual self in experience. That cannot be done without the help of one who is right in knowing, real in his selfless reaction, and pure in his aim to help out from the dual state of individual intellectual ignorance. Remember that I have come not to teach, but to awaken. What is the meaning of this? It means exactly this, what is so individually important, and that is to self-realize in this mind which is finite, the divine state of non-reaction, and that is mental calm. Unessential and unnecessary is the act of self-realizing when I am in the human body. That is to say, no one needs to go any further in his own individual effort to self-conscious realize the divine existence within. No one needs to make further studies about the mind and its reactions. Psychology is of no more use. It is no more of use to take up the subject of creation and its dual finite order of making life a trial, a quest. The demon that is in men is the dual order in thought, creating continuous reaction. That is the demon. That is the double-headed I that is creating so much trouble in everyone who is trying to into the realm of mind and being, or into the realm of deeper knowing, or say into the realm of the infinite I. No one is able to pursue this divine I as existence unless he, as individual in himself, in full, conscious of his individual and of its actions, and in it is seeing, knowing, and feeling that he is in it, object of his own I, as the individual intellectual existence.
What is truth, you ask? No one has ever seen the fact in itself that is in real order of existence, fact in real reaction. To be clear about this, let us make it as simple as possible by saying, when we pursue the real self, it is not for use of the individual I, but it is for the use of the end, the life, the God state, as state of realization, of knowing, of being. No one has ever given as little importance to the subject of mind as I do here by saying to everyone who is individual in his own intellectual order of thought that he should in every way try to be simple and unself-conscious in the use of his own I as individual intellect. No one can understand why I try to have everyone come down to the level of true, real, simple thinking, matter-of-fact way of trying to find out the real sense, the meaning of word, of life, that I try by giving everyone the exact experience of the real self. It is a new form of school to teach without any form of mental, creative order of thought. That is what is the meaning of the saying, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. I do not avoid the intellectual order of thought in mind in man, but I create a new form of receptiveness within in the realm of I as mind in being. This means, in order to make it clear, that I do not try to give anyone a different conscious creative order to self-experience within and without, but I stimulate being individual reaction, that which I as a human being react, and that is the self. This self that is in its mind order thought as pure creation order is for you a superficial conscious reaction in the individual intellect. Deep within it is my own I, that is creation order, that is form creating, that is function, that is making use of that which is form to create in it the order of divine existence. Let it be done by me in giving me close hearing in every moment of your day's reactions. That is to say, leave in me your reaction. Put yourself into me and be me. Do not let yourself come between you as the individual portion of me, and I, the divine existence. We are close in being. We are one in I as the divine existence. All the rest is the imaginary existence of the individual I, that in its own order of mind is making division to put into action and reaction its own I, so that it creates order, controversy. Making believe in reaction is the same as saying I am tempting my own I to react to its own divine existence. That what I do is making believe in every motion, in every moment of action, in reaction. That is more than I can say to make it clear that in the ordinary sense, the real I is the indivisible existence, and the individual I is the division reaction of its own immutable self as the state of truth. Do not mix the external world in its indivisible state in action and reaction with the divine I state that is immutable. Let that be a separate quest and a separate trial and a separate form of mind in action and reaction. No one can see the truth in its real order of existence unless one is in it true and real, God as conscious existence. God is beyond all and in everyone the immune, never-ending, immutable, never creating, never destroying, all in one existence that is giving to all as it is, its I. This I that I here describe as immutable, infinite, unending, right, pure, unselfish, is merely a form that has to be in use in everyone as the finite order to self-realize that which is I as one, as God in its universal existence. God is far above this. God is music, light, order in rhythm, motion infinite, reaction without action, motion without reaction, order without reaction, divine, sure, quiet, unself-conscious. It is a show of such indescribable pure beauty that it is impossible for any human being to win with the imagination. Whatever is of ordinary use in our own way to experience is sure and safe when it is done unselfishly. This is the only way to assure any human being of a real existence that is pure, that is good, that makes good, that leads to good, and that leaves no stain. This stain that we call I is mind. Is I in use to self-realize? All these reactions, you may call them the self-realizing show in mind, is of no use when I am here in person.
I am here to make it over and over simple and real and true and good for everyone. That is to say, I create a rhythm of union within and without. I make life easy by giving to the mind a state of real balance between the I and the other I, between the head and the heart, or let us say in a more scientific manner, between the divine and the ordinary. Nothing can make one feel more holy and happy than to know that within in I is He, the divine existence. Why? Because when we compare the divine and the ordinary, we see no division. We see no division between the human being and Him, the divine order of God in human form. Why does that help? It helps to make us humble, unself-conscious of our importance, and unself-conscious of being like Him. And that is to be real, humble. It makes us see how it is to have faith. It is to have the inner knowing of the real existence. It is to become conscious of the divine I, that in us is unrealized, but so easily to be realized in every moment of one's own real, conscious, wakeful in mind as seeing, knowing, and feeling. Whatever we may say of the human being that is God realized is far too little. It is inasmuch a small fact as it appears so simple as human expression. But what is it to be human? To be human is to be the fulfilled order of I as the divine existence that has taken form and is order in us, the ordinary, unself-realized creation. We have not yet a real feeling for what is real. We have not yet an idea of what is true. We can in no way make ourselves clear what it is to be the unselfish, realized human creature. Mayor Baba replies, "The word selfless I shall try to explain. I am trying to explain to you in every way that this word means not in the least that what the ordinary human mind is trying to find out in using it in wrong and right ways. No one is selfless until he has submerged in I as divine order of mind that is non-I in mind in being. No one is self, is nothing as existence.
This should make it clear, although they are words which do not create images or pictures or symbols. Nothing is of use while I am here than to see me and to live in me and to love me and to serve me and to do anything and everything possible, human and impossible, to clear the condition which is so absolutely wrong, and that is to think that I have to be different than ordinary human being. I must be as I am. I must be simple, unassuming, ordinary, but I must be selfless. That means, in another way, that I must have reached the state of egolessness, of non-being, of non-I, of non-existence as the universal I. I repeat here to you as my disciple, do not let your head go wild by thinking that I have to appear to the world as the giant that has to create sensation, that has to make spectacles of unreal phenomena, who has to come down, as it is written in the ancient books, and leave the impression of awe, of fear, of horror. No. And again, I say it is not so. No one will see me be more than a human, ordinary being that works in the selfless state of mind in which I am for the good of all. I am serving you here by giving you this discourse that you have to use for the benefit of others. I am serving the one who has to hear this for the use of his own creation that has to earn new understanding. I am telling you all this and more, and far more than this, within, where you have no access, where you have no feeling for, where you do not know what is the wonder-doing act of mercy that gives peace, joy, bliss. I am giving this in everyone in its own proportion of need, and I am doing it in everyone in its own proportion of divine ambition. And I am doing it in everyone in order to make everyone become light and easy and real. And that is to lose his own I within me. I say here once over again, do not let the mind take the overhand when you think of me. Do not let the mind speak to you when you see me. Do not let the head give you ideas when you can find me within your own eye as the being that is there, uninterruptedly there with you, sharing, giving, doing, making good, taking out, lifting and arousing the divine rhythm that has to make clear and sure and unself-conscious its own order, that is I. It is true that God is use when you realize the self being in you, the divine I that creates you, that gives you realization, that makes you clear in thought, that shows you the way out of this world of illusion, that makes you become one with the divine I. That is use of God. God is making use of everything to make its use be the use and no more than use. Remember the difference. God is use in everyone till he is realized in use. And that is to have become one with anything and everything.
This is utterly marvelous.
Mayor Baba.
That's true, Judy. Beautiful.
It, Jonathan or roughly, quick. Sorry, I missed when you. Where is this from? What's the name of what we just?
Mystical Life 2.
Ah,
When he talks
wow.
about the reason I come not to teach but to awaken, and its status and our future status of being selfless and therefore one with him.
Yeah.
So continuing with Mystical Life 3.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything Mystical Life 3. Mayor Baba speaks. I forgive. Come to me, all who are heavy laden in mind, in eye.
We can't see the text.
Oh, okay. I must have to do this. Thanks, Judy. Let me go back, share. Okay. Now you can see it? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Mystical Life 3. Mayor Baba speaks. I forgive. Come to me, all who are heavy laden in mind, in eye. Come to me, all who see in this winning realization reaction the real order to arise to new consciousness. Come to me, all who in I, in one in I, know the one in I show of I, be in life in spirit, order impersonal. I will give you the way, the life, the truth. I here say to all once more, let the head be calm in the world's ordeal of new resurrection. It is to you as my disciple that I here order to see in the world's disaster the real way to truth. I here give the word, I have given the word of honor of me as human God to do the realization of God in mind when I shall speak. I shall, in the moment of my new word in I, that is God conscious, make in you the show of mind in bliss. It is the show of peace, and it is the show of mind in being impersonal, in self-effective realized state of joy. It is all in one in all. Me, the God, in I impersonal, being I personal, as human, self-realized I, the God. This is clear, pure truth speaking in one of my selfless working disciples. To be selfless is to see, to know, to be in me and I resigned. It is to have reacted a state of selflessness in mind, which is the new beginning of I in realization reaction. God is me here, now, ordering in I, in mind, to awake. God in me is truth manifestation in I, to show that in I, the one in I, is the portion in I that I do realize.
God in me is love supreme. God in me is truth realized. I in you am, one in I, the pure, selfless order to love the I as it is. I am forgiving the I as it is. I am taking on in I the I's sins, and in the sins I arise as the new I that is more conscious of truth. I am forgiving in use, in being in love immutable, the I of mine that has been sinning for use of I. I forgive in you the dual I. I forgive in you the immutable one in I. I forgive in you the truth work in I, for use in I, to self-realize in I, the use. I forgive to you my own I, to see, to know, to feel in I, the truth. I forgive to you my own mind in being, to be in mind in I, the divine I. I forgive to use my one in I, for use of self-realization, as in use I hear, do in use the I. I forgive the God to be in I, the self-realization. I forgive to you to see, to know in I, you as I in me. God absolute is pure existence in I. He is one in use in all as God imperative, who in I is pure order, without the self, without the I as mind as being. I am God absolute, to show in I, one only I, one only God. Meher Baba is here in our life, the human show of forgiveness. blessed show of being that is knowing in I that he is forgiving the I, to be in I self-conscious, a blessed human God in this plane in mind, who has come to lift us out of mind. He here is speaking. I know what is the good, happy I in days of prosperity. It is the dawn in I, to arise in I, in mind, in being. I see the realization work in I, be fast in I. When the I is in readiness to self-realize in I, me, I see it realize in self, and in self realize in mind, in being fast. I promote the dual progression to self-realize in I, the truth. I here am the dual one in I, doing in I, good uplifting use. Here I say to you as the disciple who is ready to live and die for me, to show to you the way to me in realization reaction, in super conscious realization order. And that is to be in I, in me. When I order one of my disciples to be me, I am in the disciple the self, effective I, in use direct. This I here sign as true, real writing of me in I, in you as my one in I, order to show in I, in you, the fact of mind in being in self-surrender. To surrender is to love in mind in selfless realization reaction. To surrender is to live in mind in I as pure aim, in selfless design in aim. To surrender is to see, to know, to feel in I, me, for use of I, in use in I in all. To self-realize in I, in use, me, is all that is to be doing here, now, while I am the dictating show in I, in life, in mind of men. God is descended. God is in use in us. God is God as pure friend, to see in us him arise in use in us as truth. You are the blessed being in I, in mind, who is my own I. You are the blessed selfless creature of I. You are the blessed man of selfless I, who is doing in our I so much grace and mercy. God, conscious man of life realized, be our guide. God save us from the individual intuition. God save us from the individual I state in mind, in being, in self-realizing knowing of your own use. God, take in you our I. God, take in you our mind in dual self-experience. God, see in you our own I, be you. God, see in I us as you. God, be in I us as you.
Mayor Baba speaks. I here say to all who in I have to pray in this hour of darkness, that it is good to pray. To pray is to say the heart's wish. To pray is to swing in I, the heart to the depth of I, of mind and being. To say to you to pray is unnecessary, as in you, I am the continuous invocation in I, to self-realize in I, one all I order. I know your heart, O you who is in pain of my one in I order, to conscious self-realize in I, the state of truth. I know you, my one in I, in anguish to self-realize the I as God. I know the thought of the dying soldier on the battlefield of I, in self-realization. It is good, it is high, it is real, it is true in I, in self-realization. I know you all who in I have to live for me in I, in the plane of I unconscious, of I in self-realization. I am in use in all, you my I. God in I, in use in I, is the true real friend. Beloved friend of my own I, in self, in mind, in I, in being. You have shown me so far deeper on, in I, in mind, in being. Beloved one, in I as mind, as self, as mind in being, conscious of I in self, in I in mind in being, as spirit existence. You have done on the way to I, in self, in mind, in I, in being, the clear, the pure way. You, sweet life in I, as love that is selfless. You have shown in me the disputing I, as dual mind, the real show in I, as selfless order, to be in I, unselfish. You have given me in I the order to self-realize in I impersonal, and for that I here say this in my own intuition of thy one in I. It is self-delusion in I to know in I, the one in I, as the being. I say this here now on the day of your 15th year of silence, that I know that I is God, you alive as you. God is here in I to know in I, here in one in I, the one in I use. It is you making an I good. I know that I here am this in self-deluded realization reaction, the individual self-realizing order of you. I know this, and in this I capitulate an I before thy eye. O you, my own self, my life, my being.
To this the Blessed Friend replies, I here say to you, my being in I, in anguish to self-realize in I, the one as me. I know the one in I in you, it is me. See in this the way to I in one in I, as me. See in this the one in I in you as use of me. See in this none other than I, me in you. The truth manifesting I in you, through me here as human show of God. I here say to you in full indivisible love, in mind in I, in mind in being, in I in use, in self-realization, is me the wonder order to self-realize. This is to be the new awakening realization order in you and in all.
Well, a lot of Course in Miracles about the split eye and Jesus being forgiven for, I don't know, I kind of got lost in that, but it was interesting about the forgiving part. And every time the word use is used, I have to think about what that is. I have to write down the definition 6 times. But it's lovely. It's Jonathan, you said one time something about the bottom line is thinking beings should be turned into human beings, something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was a reference to infinite intelligence. Baba referred to humans as human thinkings or thinking machines, and
Okay.
but human beings. What he's asking, is for us to be, because when we're in a state where the mind is in being, the one we like to, oneness is rest in being. When we're in that state of perfect calm, when we come to be in that state of perfect calm, then we're human beings at that point.
Human beings. And then from mind to thought, was that a part of it?
I'm not sure. The one thing that I did want to say though about the use is really simple in the sense
Okay.
that Baba creates creation, gives consciousness a form, so that through the evolution and involution, we can go from a state of being back to a state of being. So everything that happens in creation is him making use of everything that we do, good, bad, and indifferent, rock to human, to eventually allow him to draw us back to him. Kicking and screaming, as I said, would be the mind's reaction. But that's what use is. The use is what Baba makes of creation. And he's just saying, he's just asking us not to think of it that we're doing our use. It's allow him to surrender to him and allow him to use us to draw us back to him by being honest and natural, being who we are.
So all of our deviations and completely inappropriate behaviors are exactly perfect because that's in his use.
Yeah, he makes use of that imperfection. Yeah, it's when whether you do good or bad, what's important is that it's a natural expression of who you are in that moment. It's like the man who kills the 100th person and gets realization. It's a bad act, but in the perfection of that spontaneous action, or
So Trump is the Christ.
everybody we just don't know it. He makes use of everything. Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, you know what he said about Hitler? Advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't recall. What did he say?
Well, but he was, I can't quote it exactly, but he was doing Baba's work.
Yeah.
And
What has happened had to happen.
Yeah. And he
He played his role perfectly.
Yeah, I think the one mistake.
Well, somebody said that Judas was really someone who greatly devoted to Jesus, but had to assume that role.
Yeah, and his was the toughest role. I just read that recently.
Yeah. He did it under the veil.
Yeah.
Likewise, I heard Ravana was a perfect master who assumed that
Yeah.
arch villain role for the Ramayana.
Now I can quote that. He had all these advanced powers. He was a very advanced person, but he had learned that the only way that he was going to get realization was to have his heart pierced by the arrow of Ram. So he kidnapped Sita and created this whole war in order to create a scenario where he would be killed by Ram's arrow.
Gosh, I feel less guilty now about what I've done.
That's the whole point. The guilt keeps us in the mind,
Oh, yeah. The reaction. There's another word that's trippy.
Yeah, everything is reaction.
And order is another word.
He was saying, they were saying something about surrender in this. That seems to be a big part of it. So, we don't always know. I mean, I think it is possible in your imperfection to still be used by God. So one thing I wanted to reflect back to both of you is when we just came out of this, I could see the influence of this on you both. The reading of this, like I could see it in a vibrational way. I could see I guess I could see the more infinite aspect on your individual eyes, that the more infinite was coming through as opposed to your individual eyes.
Well, that's the beauty of this show, because it's vibrational, it's not understanding. And the degree that we read these on our own, particularly vocalizing them, that's all you have to do. It's not, it's just powerful.
They carry so much authenticity of Mayor Baba in like every line.
Yeah.
My experience of just his very presence in them. do either of you know, or anybody else, but I'm thinking Jonathan and Rosalie, do you know how Norina got these to paper? In other words, there are a lot of old-fashioned words involved, and it's like, was she writing down as that was coming to her these profound messages, or was she remembering them after and they're so perfectly worded? You have any idea?
You know, one thing that occurred to me is that I've written poems every once in a while, and usually they're early in the morning, and they just come out, and I just write and write and write. And I she talks about it being the void, but I don't think for myself as she said, it's not like even though she calls it dictation, it seems to me that it would be just a spontaneous thing of where she writes it out, or I don't know whether she might type things because she had a typewriter, Rosalie said. What do you think, Rosalie?
Yeah, she had a little typewriter. No, I think sometimes she had other people take it down. I know when she spoke in Carnegie, Little Carnegie Hall in New York, she had maybe Adele and different people take it down. But I don't know, but I think, Jonathan, it's in the archives, the original, no?
Um,
In her writing, I think.
there may be, I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't checked those recently, but if you go to the Trust website and in the digital library under there, it's Adi Kearani's archives. There are a number of documents in there, including the ones we'll be starting next week. We'll be starting the first of the unpublished, and these will be actual photographs of each of the pages that were typed up. In some cases, they were marked as an office copy or a final copy for publication. So that'll be a different experience coming up next week. And
But one of them was already published. We're going to do number 4.
yeah, but that's not, I didn't get the original manuscript for that. But there may be some of them in there.
Well, thanks for the insight. Thank you very, very much. I need to go, but really
Thanks for coming.
and the two of you, the way that you are able to offer them to us, to bring them, in my experience, to bring them to life for us with your words, your intone. I mean, it's more than any of that. It's your, you're there in the meaning, and anyway, I can't use words to explain it, but it's
Pioneers, you're pioneers, I tell you.
But it truly is the power of the vibration and rhythm that's inherent in the writing. And just to, I was just saying, thank God for punctuation, because, and even the punctuation's a little bit, but when that's the value of reading them aloud individually, because you become to own that rhythm and vibration.
But there's certain lines for me, like when I heard this one, this is from one of these mystical lives. This mystical language is the experience of God. I thought, okay, to take Bob at his word.
And
And no, you couldn't understand any other way.
say about the priests,
The way?
because of that, it eliminates the need
Oh,
for a
no,
priest.
there don't need to be a priest because these are already published or they were already in order to be published. And Scott McKay went to Kitty Davy, who was part of this new Blue Bus journey. And he says, what was it like, Kitty? You know, Baba speaking to Norina, and she says, we were complaining to Baba. We were complaining. It's not our first language. You know, we wanted to change the wording. And Baba says, don't change one word. This is for the future. They will appreciate it. You are children. And the Mandali, God bless them, and certainly did. They were like children. They didn't do anything without his order. And if they did, they had to answer for it. And that's, you're a child, but man, I yearn for childdom.
That
And
that
what
the
you
other
said about the future, you know, that Baba said these are for the future. I wrote to Adi K and Ronnie in '69 and asked for all of it's when I realized that Mayor Baba was the avatar of the age. It's like absolutely everything about him or by him is utterly precious. Anyway, Audie sent me all of the Mayor Baba journals and things from the 20s and you know everything that they had copies of. And I read these. I read all of these messages through Norina in the Mayor Baba journals. Oh, jeepers! I was very young in those days, but it, yeah, I wasn't ready for it. I couldn't tune into it the way that somehow those of us that are here now are all blessed to be able to find significant, major significant meaning in them. But yeah, it wasn't.
I feel the thing that really kind of lit this up for me was going back and looking into what happened when Baba completed the Mononash and announced the life period. Because what up until that happened in 52, February 52, the first life message. And of course, these all were published and out, but like you say, people would read them and it didn't click at that time. And I think the reason was Baba was still in his form in the body. So he gave people the freedom to go wherever, even not to follow his orders. But by virtue of the Mononash, he had completed his work. But of course, people were still would want to be with Baba and focused on Baba. And then when Baba dropped the body, then people were focused on the Mandali. But both Baba said, remember, I'm not the body. And the Mandali said, remember, we're happy to share our stories and be with you, but remember, it's Baba. Now that they're not here, I think that's why they are of significance now, because Baba in the life messages was empowering us to make our own choices. And when you're on the divine path, how can you make that choice other than looking within? And it's through the intuition. And Norina and women in general, are exemplify that direction. And so now we can either be looking outward, and it can be a difficult thing to look outward these days, as opposed to looking inward and projecting. Instead of projecting the world into ourselves and disrupting things, we establish within ourselves our intuitive connection with the divine. And then things start looking, it's just, Baba, you're doing what you need to do.
And I think also because the world seems so awful, like it's even hard to listen to news, it's like, wow, and at this time to receive something vibrationally, because Baba says, I here act in mind in vibration to make in you life grow. And I thought, it seems to make, reading these to myself seems to make every other quote I've heard from Baba through the years that I've loved more life to it, like a transfusion, or,
Huh.
and like this one, it says, the time is rapidly approaching when a tidal wave will rise out of the ocean of grace. Then the usual process by which the waters in the river flow into the ocean will be reversed, and the ocean waters will rush through the riverbeds. Man, we're like the riverbeds. We don't know, we identify with these forms, but the formless is rushing into us. It's like, wow.
I think everybody has, but Scott McCaig made a PDF file of all of Norina's articles from the Blue Bus. And I also, we both, but I also captured the PDFs of the unpublished ones. So if anybody is in need of those, just let me know. And I'll send them to you. And
Is that the Meher Baba Journal?
Mayor Baba journals are there.
PDF?
Yeah, the Mayor Baba. I think I sent that to you.
Yeah, yeah. I've
may
been
not have
following along
sent-
that as well as what you're showing. Yeah, it's fun.
Did I send you the unpublished articles? I may not have yet, Bing.
Probably not.
Okay, I'll send them to you because we'll be starting them next week.
Jonathan, you sent me PDF files. Did it include all of what you're just saying, both the
No,
published?
I can send them to you just to be sure, but there's one PDF file that contains all of our articles, and then there are the 10 unpublished articles are actually JPEGs captured off of the Trust website of each individual page. So I have to send them as a number of documents in an email. So you may not have gotten those. I'll send you those.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Did you get
Just
all the unpublished articles?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
It would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Did you get them?
Prakash.
Is he still here? He might not be.
he's here.
Oh, sign
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
there.
here, Jai Baba. I think you did send me, Jonathan.
The
I
unpublished
received
one?
a lot of mail from you. I mean, I should be very honest in saying that I didn't look at them in full detail, but
No,
when the time comes, I will.
let us know. You are a busy man.
No. Honestly, I'm not. But but the mind can be busy without doing anything. That's
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So you don't know if he send you the unpublished one?
I'll look it up. Thank you. I mean, I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
you
and
have
then
my email. Just let
Yeah,
me know.
well,
But right
we'll be
now, I'll
helpful.
send it to
Yeah.
Bing, Judy, and Shaw.
yeah, we're going to start sharing them. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Jai Baba. Thank you both.
Jai Baba.
Wonderful reading as always. I mean, we feel it. We
Thank
feel
you.
it.
I'll miss you all next week. I got a daughter visiting and another visitor from India. We're doing a road trip. We're going to go to Maharana the next day.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, they are recorded. Sometimes it takes several days before they get put up, but they'll be.
Well, yeah. Also, I can just read them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Jai Baba.
Good.
Jai Baba.
Okay, Jai Baba next week. So next week we'll be doing 4 and unpublished 5.
Good.
Jai Baba.
All right.
it's really the purity of these that's